Hello students, welcome to the Accounting Telikilaas. Today's topic is Financial Statements of Limited Companies for Grade 12 students. Today we will be discussing a question where we have to prepare Statement of Comprehensive Income and Statement of Financial Position. The learning objectives. The student should be able to learn the preparation of statement of profit and loss and other comprehensive income and also statement of financial position according to International Accounting Standards 1 format. They should also be able to show the workings required in the preparation of these financial statements. Now let us start with a past paper question which is from Unit 2, June 2014, question number 1. Here goes the question. Wavelength Asia PLC produces satellite dishes at its factory. The satellite dishes are then delivered to the company's warehouse before sale to customers. At 31st March 2014, the following balances were in the books. Now they will be giving you a trial balance. So first we will be discussing the question how to classify this, under which headings it will come, right? So first, bad debts. Bad debts is a part of administration expense, so we need to take under that. Then bank balance. It is a current asset which should be shown under statement of financial position. Bank loan interest. It is the loan interest that is actually paid. So since it is an expense, it should be shown under finance cost in the statement of comprehensive income. Cash. That is the cash in hand which should be shown as current asset in the statement of financial position. The next is 7.5% debentures 2016. So this is a non-current liability which should be shown in the statement of financial position. But interest on this should be calculated and shown as finance cost in the statement of comprehensive income. Next is direct material, which is a part of production cost, so it should be shown under cost of revenue. Factory buildings at cost is 2,800,000, which is a non-current asset and should be shown in the statement of financial position. But the depreciation for the current year should be calculated and it should be shown as cost of revenue under the expenses. There is also factory building depreciation which has been accumulated in the previous years, which should be adjusted when you are calculating the carry-over value of the factory buildings, that is net book value. Then next we have goodwill, which is an intangible asset and it should be shown in the statement of financial position. The next is interest on debentures. Interest on debentures paid is 150,000. So we need to check whether the percentage what is given on the debenture interest is same as what is paid. So if they both are not same, then the difference will be the owing amount. The next is opening inventory, which should be taken under cost of revenue. Land at cost is a non-current asset, so it should be shown in the statement of financial position. Marketing costs are the expenses for selling the goods, so it should come under distribution cost. Motor vans at cost. So here again these motor vans are a non-current asset. It should be shown under the statement of financial position, but the depreciation on motor vans should be shown as distribution cost because these motor vans are used for transporting the goods. Then we can see the provision for depreciation of motor vans also. You need to adjust accordingly. Then office expenses are administration expenses. Ordinary share capital is the equity which should be shown under equity section in the statement of financial position. The next is rent on warehouse, which is a storage expense. So it should be shown under distribution cost. Retained earnings, that's a profit carried forward from the previous year. Because it is shown on the credit side, it would be the profit. Then revenue, that's a sales revenue. Shipping cost is again a transportation cost, so it should be shown under distribution cost. Short-term bank loan. Yes, this one is actually a current liability because it is a short-term bank loan. So you should be showing under the heading short-term borrowings in the current liability section of statement of financial position. Trade payables is a current liability and trade receivables is a current asset. Both should be shown in the statement of financial position. Next is wages. So we need to check the breakup of wages that will be given in the additional information. So for what we are spending, accordingly, it should be classified. Now let us come into the additional information. So how to make these adjustments? First, inventory, which is a closing inventory. It should be deducted from the total of cost of revenue. The next is interest owing on bank loan. So earlier in the trial balance, we have seen that interest paid on bank loan is 20,000. So still owing amount is 4,000. So total it comes to 24,000. Then marketing costs 250,000 paid in advance. So this is a prepaid expense. So it should be deducted from the marketing costs. The next is wages. So here's the breakup of wages. So direct factory labor, the wages paid for factory labor should be a part of cost of revenue. Then the wages paid for office staff should be an administration expense, and wages paid for motor van drivers should be distribution cost. Okay. The next is depreciation. Assuming a nil residual value and using the straight line method. So here we have to use straight line method, remember. So straight line method means we need to calculate the depreciation as cost over estimated life of asset. So first one is factory building. The factory buildings are to be depreciated over 50 years life. And the motor vans are to be depreciated over 4 years life. Okay. The next is the corporation tax provision to be made for 399,000 payable by 30th April 2014. So we should take this corporation tax under statement of comprehensive income, and also it will be shown in the current liability section of the balance sheet. Now let us see the required part. Here they are asking us to show all the workings clearly. As I told you in the Edexcel, you need to show the workings which is a part of the answer, clearly labeling the workings. So prepare for Wavelength Asia PLC in accordance with International Accounting Standards 1. So you need to strictly follow the format. So we are required to prepare statement of comprehensive income for the year ended 31st March 2014 and also statement of financial position at 31st March 2014. So let us start with the workings. Always you need to first do the workings, then prepare the format. So first is cost of sales. It can be also called as cost of revenue. It is the same. You need to take opening inventory plus the direct material or any expenses which you are incurring to produce the goods. Direct material, then factory buildings depreciation. This we need to calculate. As I told you, we need to take cost over estimated life of asset, which is 2,800,000 divided by 50 years, that is 56,000. The next, direct factory labor and closing inventory should be deducted. Then you will be getting 5,102,000, which is the total cost of sales. The next, distribution cost. So under distribution cost, we need to take mainly three things. That is the selling expenses, transportation expenses, and storage expenses. So first we will take marketing expense, which is selling expense. But there is an adjustment in this. Like we have prepaid expense of 250,000, so that should be deducted, and then we need to calculate the marketing expense. Then rent of warehouse premises, which is a storage cost, that should be taken. Then depreciation on motor vans. Again, we need to calculate cost over estimated life of asset. The next, shipping cost is a transportation cost. So it should be coming under distribution cost. Then van driver wages also is a distribution cost. Then the total of distribution cost is 1,4 426,000, that is 1,426,000. Then expenses are classified under distribution and also administration. So what all will come under administration? All the office related expenses, collection cost, legal fees, professional fees, all those things will come under administration expense. The expense which we are incurring to manage the business. First one is bad debts written off, which is a collection cost. So it should be taken under this office expenses and also office staff wages. So these three together will be 555,000. The next is the financial cost or finance cost. It's the same thing. First we need to calculate the interest on debentures, that is 2 million times 7.5%, 150,000. So we need to check whether what is paid is same as what is payable. That's why we are calculating whether the interest on debentures paid is same as what is the percentage given there. And for interest on bank loan, they have already given that there is an owing expense of 4,000. So that should be added. So total comes to 24,000. Okay. Now here additionally you can see that we have done some workings for non-current assets. As we all know, when we are preparing the statement of financial position, we need to record the non-current assets at its carry over value, which is also called as net book value. Okay, so that's why we have taken like buildings is 2,800,000, which is the cost, less depreciation, the total depreciation of 168,000, which includes the current year depreciation plus the previous accumulated depreciation. So after deducting that depreciation, you will arrive at 2,632,000. Then similarly, we need to do for motor vans also. Cost less the total depreciation will give you the carry over value, which is 45,000. So these are the figures that you have to show in the statement of financial position. Now let us come to the preparation of statement of comprehensive income. As you all know, we are preparing according to international accounting standards. So we need to be specifically writing these terms on the heading also, like statement of profit and loss and other comprehensive income of Wavelength Asia PLC for the year ended 31st March 2014. Now let us look into the format. First we have to take revenue, which is the sales revenue that is given in the trial balance, less cost of revenue. Within brackets you can see we have written W1, which is workings 1. That is 5,102,000. This figure is taken from the workings what we have just now discussed. Then in order to arrive at gross profit, we need to deduct cost of revenue from the revenue. So you'll be getting gross profit of 3,551,000. Next, the expenses which are classified as distribution and administration, we need to record that. Earlier we have recorded distribution cost in the workings 2, which came to 1,426,000. The same amount has been carried forward. Remember what the answer you get in the workings, the same thing should be taken. Then you will get own figure marks for taking those figures in the format. Then administration expenses, which is 555,000. So when you deduct these two expenses, you will be getting the operating profit, which is the profit before interest and tax. So now we are supposed to deduct interest and the tax. So the interest what we pay for borrowing the finance is called as finance cost, which we have calculated in the workings 4, which is 174,000. So after deducting the finance cost, we will get 1,396,000. Then next is corporation tax, which is also given in the additional information, the last point. So after deducting that, we will be getting profit on ordinary activities after tax. So this profit should be added to the retained earnings which has been carried forward from the previous year in order to get the retained earnings which has to be carried forward to the next year. Okay, let us start with the statement of financial position. In the statement of financial position, First, we need to write the heading as I told you. Statement of financial position of Wavelength Asia PLC as at 31st March 2014. That is very important. Then coming to the format, you need to write the headings also, like assets. Under that, in assets we have two types, as you all know, non-current assets and current assets. Okay, but under non-current assets again there would be three headings, which is property, plant and equipment, investment property and intangible assets. In this question we do not have investment property, so we are not showing under non-current assets. But we have property, plant and equipment where we show the tangible assets like land, which is 3,100,000. That is at cost because land is not to be depreciated. Then buildings, we have taken the depreciated value or carry over value, which is 2,632,000. And motor vans also at carryover value, which is 45,000. So the total of property, plant and equipment is 5,777,000. And under intangible assets, we have goodwill, which is 800,000. And the total of non-current assets would be 6,577,000. Now we will look into the current assets. Among current assets also, we will have three main headings: inventories, trade and other receivables, cash and cash equivalent. Remember, writing these headings is very important. In the inventories, if we have more than one type of inventory like raw material, work in progress and finished goods, we need to list it out separately. But in this question, we have only finished goods, so we have taken 389,000 directly. Then among trade and other receivables, we have trade receivables 556,000 and prepayments, which is the marketing cost, 250,000. The next heading is cash and cash equivalent. Under that we have again cash at bank and also cash in hand. So total of those things will be 152,000. So we have got the total of three headings, that is 389,000, 806,000 and 152,000. So total of current assets would be 1,347,000 and the total of assets is 7,924,000. And against that we have to write total assets like it is shown in the screen. Writing this description is very important in the publish format. Now we will go to the other side of the statement of financial position. That is equity and liability section. Under equity, we have ordinary share capital, preference share capital and other reserves. But in this question, we come across only ordinary share capital and retained earnings. Okay. So ordinary share capital, the amount is what is given in the trial balance, 2,258,000. But retained earnings, we have added the current year profit, which is 997,000 to the retained earnings. So you will be getting total of 2,118,000, which is to be carried forward to next year. So total of equity would be 4,376,000. Okay, like this you need to show. Then under non-current liabilities, we have 7.5% debentures, which is 2 million. We have a bank loan also, but that is a short-term loan. So it should come under current liabilities, not non-current liabilities. Okay. So we will look into the current liabilities now. Under current liabilities also, again three headings will be there. All of you should study the format and remember the format which have been discussed in the previous classes. So among the current liabilities, we have trade and other payables, short-term borrowings, current tax payable. Under trade and other payables, we have trade payables and loan interest in this question, which is 4,000. So total of trade and other payables is 649,000. But you can come across any other expenses like if we have any owing expenses or prepaid income, that will also come under trade and other payables. Then under short-term borrowings, we have bank loan which is to be paid within 1 year. So that's why it will come under this heading. If it is to be paid for more than 1 year, then it will come under non-current liability. Then among current tax payable, we have provision for taxation. Always remember the taxation amount would be current liability only unless the examiner specifies that it should be paid for more than 1 year. So provision for taxation is 399,000. So the total of non current liabilities is 1,548,000. Then when you add all the equity, non-current liabilities and current liabilities together, we will get a total of 7,924,000. So that is the total of equity and liabilities. Okay. So that is how you need to balance the statement of financial position. Now coming to self-assessment. As you all know, we need to practice these questions, then only you will become perfect. So especially in a practical subject like accounts, you need to practice more. So I'll be listing out two questions from the past papers where you had to prepare statement of comprehensive income and also statement of financial position. So you have to assess yourself by solving these questions. That is January 2010 question number 1 and January 2016 question number 2. All of you kindly make a note of these questions. Okay, so these questions you try to do by yourself. Okay, that's all for today's class, students. Have a good time. Be safe.